I got a confession to make, bro. I was a simp. What up, homie? My name's Dave, and I put out new videos every week to help you get the girls you want and become the man you're meant to be. Now, I've told you guys my story before, how I wasn't always so good with girls. I used to be that shy type of guy who could never even talk to a girl. But I'm not sure you realize just how much of a simp I used to be. I mean, I've had some pretty embarrassing moments. The difference for me though was that a lot of guys beat themselves up over their mistakes, but I would always assess what happened and look for the lesson behind it so I could do better the next time. And that's what really helped me to accelerate my progress with women. So today I'm gonna share with you 3 of my biggest and most embarrassing simp mistakes so you can learn from them too. Let's get into it.
What do we do to love? What do we do to love? What do we do to love? When everything's said and done, what do we do to love?
So my simp days actually started very early on, going all the way back to 2nd grade. See, back then I was really into Hollywood movies, like most 2nd graders are, and I saw a lot of those movies where the nerdy guy would give the girl a present or do something really nice for her, and of course the hot popular girl would always fall for him and they would end up happily ever after. So I had that thought in my mind, like, oh, that's what I need to do to attract girls. That's how it all works. Easy. So at the time, back in 2nd grade, I had my eye on this one girl, and I thought, all right, the best way to get her to like me is to get her something. So I convinced my mom to come with me to the mall and buy this girl like a $50 necklace, and I was gonna give it to her the next day. But of course, when it came time to give her the necklace, I simped out, never had the balls to give it to her, and things just kind of faded away. I never really had a chance with her. Let's flash forward a few years to 5th grade though, and I had a little bit of a bigger set of balls, I guess both literally and figuratively. There was another girl I had my eye on, and keep in mind, at the time I was one of the most shy guys in school. I used to have to wear a big retainer in 5th grade that took up my entire mouth. I could barely talk. I sounded like that teacher from Charlie Brown. And the girl I had my eye on, she was one of the most popular girls in school. So I had some work to do. So Valentine's Day was coming up, and I thought, all right, all I gotta do is give this girl a cool Valentine's Day gift, and she is gonna fall for me. So I thought about what should I get her, and I thought, all right, I'm gonna get her a card that basically professes my love for her, as well as I'm gonna put a Christina Aguilera CD in there because I know that that's her favorite artist. And you know what? Because I'm a sweet guy, I'm also gonna throw in $15. I guess you can call that the simp tax. Valentine's Day came around, and of course, I kind of bitched out at the last minute, didn't have the balls to give it to her myself, but I did give it to one of her guy friends who delivered it for me after school. I remember seeing him deliver her the card, and I was just like, oh my God, and I just ran home. I could not be there in that moment. Now, of course, I was scared. I wasn't sure how this was all gonna turn out, but in the back of my mind, I was still hoping I'm gonna walk into school the next day, she's gonna give me a hug, and we're gonna be girlfriend and boyfriend. I got this on lock. The next day rolled around, I walk into school, nervous as can be, and she comes up to me, gives me a hug and says, oh, that was very sweet of you, and that was pretty much it. It never really materialized, nothing else ever materialized from that, aside from me kind of looking like a simp, and things just kind of being awkward throughout the rest of the time that I knew her. The big lesson I learned there was, don't believe everything Hollywood tells you. A lot of what they tell you and a lot of what they portray in the movies is complete bullshit, but to young, sensitive minds, sometimes you don't realize that. Like I say, you always gotta think for yourself before just accepting what the majority believes to be true.
I'm a whirling dervish, I always twirl on purpose. I'm so surface level, don't you look behind the curtains. I'm nervous like I'm Nelly. Kelly's so evil, he not a person. What would a good one consist of?
One question I hear from a lot of guys, especially guys who are a little bit younger, maybe in high school and college, is, oh, how do I know if a girl is into me? They'll have their eye on one girl, they'll be thinking about her all the time, they'll be trying to make something happen, and they won't know what to do. Well, I had this exact same type of situation when I was in college. There was this sexy sorority girl that I met one night at a party, and this sexy little Greek girl, and we made out a couple times at the party, and I was on cloud 9. I was super excited about it, could not get this girl off my mind, and I was thinking about her all the time, even just from that one kiss. I know, Simp City. So I got her number, and I would casually text her, I would casually talk to her at parties when we would hang out with her sorority. all that type of stuff, but I was never really making the move to something more. And I would do all types of simp shit, like I would talk to her friends and ask like, oh, is your friend into me? What does she think? All that type of stuff. It was like I was a little high school kid again. I never got the courage to actually ask her to hang out or go on a date with me or something like that. So it would always only be the parties, and that wasn't really enough to make something happen. Especially because I didn't really know how to like bring a girl home at that point. So basically this went on for months. I kept casually hanging out with her at parties. Nothing would really happen aside maybe a kiss or two, and then that would pretty much be it. Eventually, she got a boyfriend though. I think it was by the end of that year, and I was completely heartbroken. I couldn't believe that I missed my chance in sort of the same way that a lot of those young guys out there miss their chance with girls because they don't move fast enough. The lesson I learned from this is that you gotta move faster. You gotta not just go for the kiss, but try to take her home. Actively lead girls, because that's gonna help you to either figure out if there is something there, and if there is, to kind of capitalize on it and make it happen. Or if there's nothing there, then you can just move on and get on with your life and meet more girls. Not only that, but it's gonna help you to get more experience, which a lot of guys, especially again those younger guys, are very self-conscious about. They feel like, oh, I've only hooked up with girls a few times, I've only done this or that. Well, if you move faster with girls, you're gonna get more experience, you're gonna feel better about that, and you're gonna be a little bit more confident.
Then she walked away. She's the one who got away. Try to make her stay. She's the one who got away. I cannot forget her.
So there's gonna be times when you see a girl and it's not just that she's hot, she's sexy, whatever, but you just have this super strong intuition that there's something about this girl that you need to go up and talk to her. That's what happened to me this one night in Boston about like 60 years ago. I saw this girl walking through the bar, took one look at her and was like, man, I need to talk to that girl. There was something about that girl, caught my eye, I had to go say what's up. So of course I go up to her. She had a little bit of initial resistance. She was like with her friends and stuff. But then we just had this click where there was tons of chemistry. We had a ton of fun that night. We were dancing on the dance floor, hanging out all throughout the bar, and it just felt awesome. So I got her number. We ended up going on a date later that week, and the sparks were flying. It was 4th of July. Shit was crazy. But the only problem was I had to leave to move to Vietnam in 2 months. So it was sort of known right from the get-go that even though we were having this great time with each other, there was a timeline on it. Like once I left at the end of July, that was pretty much gonna be it. So we had the great times, super memorable experience. Then it came time for me to leave. I gave her a kiss goodbye, and we also agreed to at least meet up for a drink whenever it was that I came back from Vietnam. And that is when the simp behavior began. The entire 6 months that I subsequently spent in Vietnam, I could not get this girl off my mind. Yeah, sure, I hung out with a bunch of girls while I was over there, but I could not stop thinking about her. I would compare every single girl to her, and she would always win. This is pretty simple of me to admit too, but I think when I was in Vietnam, I bought her like some online little bouquet from flowers.com. So after 6 months, I went back to Boston and we hung out, we grabbed that drink, and I felt the spark again. But I'd kind of been putting her on this big pedestal for that entire 6 months while I was away, and I think it kind of screwed up the dynamic. So yeah, we hung out a couple of times, but the vibe it wasn't quite there like it used to be. And after the second or third time, she kind of sat me down and was like, Dave, listen, I really enjoyed my time with you, but I don't think this is gonna go anywhere, and I think we should end things now. And bro, once again, I was heartbroken. I think in the back of my mind, I kind of felt like maybe this girl was the one, even though I was only like 23, and it was sort of this whole ridiculous thing in my head. Again, probably from Hollywood movies when I was younger. What I learned though, and this is something that got cemented into my head over and over again sort of throughout the next few years after that, is that really there is no one. There's a lot of girls in the world that you're gonna have chemistry with. A lot of girls that you're gonna get that gut feeling with that you should go up and talk to. And it's on you to make it happen with them. But if it doesn't work out with one, and a lot of times it's not gonna work out with one because of life circumstances, maybe mistakes you make, whatever, there's still plenty more of them for you to meet. But if you just keep spending all your time thinking about that one, then you're never gonna be able to move on and meet them. So you gotta just let that girl go, and open your mind and open your heart to go up and meet a new girl. When you feel more abundant about these connections, it's a lot more likely that they're gonna happen to you more often. So yeah, man, these have been my biggest simp mistakes. I wanna hear from you though. What is your biggest simp mistake? Drop it in the comment below. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 50,000. I'd really appreciate that. And I will catch you in the next video. Peace out, homie.